The MineColonies mod is in a variety of different mod packs, and today I'm going to give you some starting out tips that will work no matter which mod pack you are playing. Now, these tips are going to be about what to do before you start your MineColonies town, because there is actually a lot to do before you get to that stage. However, if you just want to know how to get your town started, I've already made videos like that you can find on my channel, and I'm going to be making an updated one on my channel very soon. So if you're interested in being notified about that, then please do subscribe for more. And in my Discord, which is linked down in the description, you can actually join notification squad and get a little ping every time I do a live stream or release a new video. So I'm going to be sharing tips today mostly on my server, which is where we are right now. Now, this is a server that you guys are able to join, which you can find my link to my Patreon down in the description, or you can join my YouTube channel by clicking on the blue button below this video that says join. When you do that, be sure to come to the Discord, let us know that you've joined, and we will get you set up from there. Now, my server actually runs its own mod pack, but the mod pack is focused on MineColonies. If you are interested in downloading that, there'll be a link in the description, or you can just go to the CurseForge app and search Kysen, which is the name of the pack. So that's all the sort of housekeeping stuff out of the way. Let's get on to the first tips for when you're starting out in MineColonies. So the first thing to say is make sure you plan your town. Specifically, think about what sort of style of buildings you want to make. There's all different varieties of styles that you can build in MineColonies, and you can mix and match them if you want, but it's good to have an overall idea of exactly what you want to create before you get started. Then the next thing to do is think about the biome that you want to build in. Now, the reason that I say to think of the style of town that you want to do first is because this will kind of influence exactly which biome you want to build in, but also what things you want around the biome. Because if you're building a town that, for example, is the sandstone town, well, you're going to need obviously a lot of sand and sandstone and things like that in order to have all the resources you need to build your town. So when you're then looking for the biome that you want to build that town in, you want to make sure there'd be, for example, a desert nearby. And also sometimes you might say you're building a build that has a lot of dark oak in it. Well, then it might be a good idea to clear out a dark oak forest in order to build your town, because it may look better, but also as you're clearing out the way for the town to be built, you're actually getting the resources you need to build. So you can be smart about this and save yourself a lot of time that way. It is worth mentioning, of course, that the flatter the area is, the easier it is going to be for you to build your town on it. That's not to say that having a bit of depth to the builds isn't a good thing. Having things that are a bit elevated or a bit lower can be good, but I just wanted to mention this because if you have a very flat area, it is going to make building a town a little bit faster and a little bit easier for you. So for example, this island right here is where I'm going to be doing my town, and I'm going to be going for a medieval pirate style town. So as you can see, this is going to be perfect. We've got some little coves and things like that where we can put in ships and harbors and things, and we've got a very jungly, piratey feeling area here. So once we build a medieval pirate themed town around this, it is going to look pretty good because we've got the right biome, and we're also going to have a good amount of resources nearby because I've explored around this local area and we've got a lot of different biomes nearby. The next thing to do is make yourself up either a supply ship or a supply camp. You can see the recipes here, so you just need these normal chests in order to make up the supply camp, and you need boats to make up the supply ship. Now, because I've got some mods in here, we've got all different boats, but any normal chest or any normal boats will make these up. So I'm going to make myself up a supply ship because obviously I am going to be building in this area here, and having boats nearby is a good idea. So you don't have to build your supply ship or your supply camp near where your actual town is going to be if you don't want to. You may want to build it out the way a bit and then just sort of take down a lot of the ship or camp to get the resources from it beyond what you get in the chests. For me, I know I'm going to want a boat in here. This is a great little area for a harbor, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And of course, you can do the same if you wish, but it is worth mentioning you could just do this in the middle of nowhere to get yourself those early resources and get yourself started. Now, as you can see from the stuff I've got on me here, I'm a little bit more late game, but I'm just going over the beginner tips before you start a town, things that I recommend you do, of course. So what you want to do is just go ahead, right click with that, so the supply ship there, and press escape to run back and have a look. As you can see, of course, this is in the complete wrong direction, so we're going to move it using these arrows. We can also rotate it using these sort of curvy arrows up here, and we can raise it or lower it depending on what we want to do. And you can see at what level the water is meant to be at, so it gives you a good idea as to where the ship should be. You can also invert the ship. Now, this doesn't do a whole lot for the ships, but it can be quite a useful feature later on in the game when it comes to inverting buildings, and we'll go over that in some future videos. So the next thing to do then is up here I can select what different type of ship I want, and you can see there's all different types of ship. And of course, if I was doing the supply camp, there'd be all different types of that that as well. So I recommend you just go ahead and have a look at a few different ones until you find one that you really like the look of, and then I'll show you how to place it once you've done that. So I quite like this medieval dark oak one. It's got the black and white sails as well. It feels quite piratey, and it's got some like little like cannon looking things there and stuff. Of course, we could add to this in the future if we wanted, but for now this is looking pretty good. However, it's not in the right place. So what I want to do is get down here, right click again with the supply ship, and just lower it until the water is level with the water, which I can see now that it is. So if I raise it up, you can see that water there is in the wrong spot. So down there is definitely the right spot for that. Now that I know that, I'm going to go ahead and move it this way a little bit and probably put it over this way a little bit as well. And I just inverted it there, which I didn't mean to do. It doesn't really change much on this boat, but I think I want it this way around with the anchor there. And I just want this building to make sense. So that there, like that would be too close to there. So let's go that way and then that way. And it looks like we need to lower it down a bit as well. I think I might have accidentally raised it up a bit until it gets to a spot where I'm happy that it's in the right spot. Now, one thing you can do is you could always go and open this up to LAN. I'm on a server, so I can't do this, but if you're doing single player, you could, and allow cheats on. And then what you could do is put yourself in spectator mode to really fly around this ship and have a good look. So because I'm up on the server, I can do that right now and show you exactly what I mean. But if I go into spectator mode, you can see here I can fly around like this and just check that everything's looking how I want it to look. Now, if you want to actually move the ship whilst you're having a look at this from this angle, you can put yourself into creative mode, so that way you can still right click and move the ship around to the exact area that you want it to be in. So once you're happy with that, which I'm pretty happy with that one, let me go ahead and put myself back into survival mode like this. We can right click and we can hit this tick button right here. So we're going to tick that, and oh, not all blocks meet the requirement, recheck the highlight. Okay, so the issue is that block there. So you can see over here, we've got this little red thing that's showing us what's in the wrong spot. So basically, some of this coral is in the way. So when you're building this, you do need to make sure that you're building it in such an area where it's not going to interact with any other blocks, because it does need to be placed in space. So it can be placed in the water, but not in these blocks right here. But you'll just have to play around with this a little bit until you get to a point where it's actually in the right spot. So when you get it right, then the ship will be placed down like this. And of course, all these materials here, like I say, you could harvest them if you wish. However, if you're doing what I'm doing and you're placing it in a place that's near your town and you want it to stay here long term, then you probably just want to go ahead and go on and loot it. So you need to make sure you look through the entire ship. There's going to be all different little areas here with different items and things potentially hidden in. So like, here we go, we got some stuff in here. And as you can see, this is one of the things that I recommend you do first, because it gives you so much of the early game stuff you're going to need. So you got some food there, for example, to get yourself started. You could steal, obviously, these bookshelves if you wanted, and this bed, or even just live here at the early stage if you wanted to. So I'm going to go ahead and look through, and anytime I find something interesting, I will show you guys what it is. Got some cobble in there. And of course, like when you build different types of supply camp or supply ship, you might get different items to what I'm getting here. So you can get all different types of things. The water bottles there. Again, this wheat could be useful early game, as could the lanterns. So it really just depends on what you want. These storage racks right here. Looks like we've got a couple more things over here as well, getting a bit of wood and stuff like that. Basically, as you can see, this is going to get you off to a very good start early on. So this is another useful thing. You'll get all these stone tools. So it's a good way of getting these stone tools early game for you to get started in the game before you get to the stage where you've got your iron or diamond or whatever else tools going on. And again, like what we're trying to do here is just speed up the resource production speed and the resource gathering speed and all that sort of stuff. So you can get through this game a little bit faster and a little bit easier. Now, on board your supply camp or supply ship, you should also find yourself a town hall. Now, at the moment, I think there's a little bug and it's not showing up, but by the time you guys are doing this, it no doubt will show up. And you'll also get a build tool. But let me just show you here. This is the town hall, and you can see it's really easy to make, because all you need to do is make 2 of these build tools, and they're very easy to make in themselves, and then have some wood around it. So if you don't get one, it can be made up, but you should find one in your supply camp or ship. As I say, it's just a little bug at the moment. Now, I also do recommend you definitely make yourself up a build tool, though, if you don't find one and you are making the town hall, as the build tool is going to be incredibly useful later on in the game, as you'll be using it in order to place down your town buildings and that sort of thing. Just realized I actually must have placed the ship when I was still in creative mode, so I want to go ahead and delete that one on camera. I will be playing this game in survival mode and doing all the resource gathering, all that sort of stuff legitimately. Obviously, because this is my server, I'm up on here and I have access to these game modes, but I thought I'd mention that because I'm looking to do a bit of a let's play series on this server, and I just wanted you guys to know I will be doing that in survival mode. So as I said at the start of this video, the MineColonies mod is in a wide variety of different mod packs, and that means that when you're playing it, you could be playing with all different types of mods that are in there with it. So one thing I highly recommend you do is look through the different mods in your pack. Now you can kind of have a look in JEI, assuming your mod pack has JEI, they almost always do, and look at different items and that sort of thing, or you can just find a mod list for the mod pack. But one thing that can be useful to do is just to go into JEI and search for certain items. Like for example, if there's backpacks in the game, then you definitely want to make sure that you've got them. And what if there's things like sleeping bags as well? That's going to really help you with exploring. Basically, anything that's going to speed up your exploration or resource gathering. So search for different tools, search for different items that may speed that up. Another great one is the Nature's Compass. This will point you in the direction of any specific biome you type into it. So again, especially for exploring and stuff, that is going to be super, super useful. Another thing to check is for things like journey maps. So if I press J, you open up your journey map. You can set waypoints. Now you won't be able to teleport to them. This again is because I'm op, but it's a good thing to do. You can set a little waypoint where your home is. You always know which direction you have to head in. So this is my home right here. So I can double click there on the map if I want to and set the waypoint. So up here, for example, we can just get rid of all this writing up here and we'll just call it home like this. Oh, if I can spell, there we go, and save that one. And then there it is. I can see it over there. I know which direction it is in. And of course you can turn these on and off and remove them and stuff if you want to. Another thing to check is if you have a set home function. So you see here when I slash home, it takes me to my home. If you just slash set home, it'll set the home where you're at. Again, this is a certain mod that a lot of packs do have. So it is worth checking whether or not you have that. I'd also check for waystones. So you see here, you get these different waystones in packs. And again, it's quite a common one, this. And they can be made, although they are a bit more late game, but you can also find them. And you can see here, like this one here, I found you can pickaxe it as it says there in the wayload in the top left. I can use my pickaxe to take this down, but when I right click this, I can teleport to different waystones around the world. Again, it's just going to speed up your getting around the world to get yourself resources faster and explore faster. Now, you may have already noticed I've got a lot of farming going on. So one thing I like to get sorted early game is food. And because we have Pam's Harvest Craft in this, I'll show you here if I go to pizza. There we go, Pam's Harvest Craft is what's going on here. This Meat Feast pizza is one of the best foods in the game. It's like a top tier food with 13.5 hunger points being filled. So I've been getting myself the resources I need farmed up in order to get that. Now, that might not be something you have in your pack or might not be something you care about, but in my opinion, something you definitely should care about is to get a wheat farm, a sugarcane farm, a cow farm, and also a sheep farm. Now, the reason you want the wheat farm is basically to feed the cows and the sheep, although making a lot of bread can be a good food source for both you and your citizens when you get into doing your town. The sheep farm is to get all the different colors of wool. Now, I will link in the description a tutorial I've made. It's a vanilla tutorial, but it does obviously work as well in modded Minecraft to make a automatic sheep farm for every single color of wool in the game. And it's only a 4-minute video. It's a really easy thing to do, but I highly recommend it, as often in MineColonies builds will need certain amounts of different colors of wool. So you can get this set up really early in your game and you'll be set for the rest of your game. As for the cows, the steak is a great food source in your game, even if you've got modded steak, cooked steak is usually very good, but also the leather for all the different bookshelves that you'll need, and also leather is used in a ton of other recipes, especially when you're playing modded Minecraft. So that's what I would recommend that you do. Again, all of this stuff is just recommendations. You should play this game however you want to. I'm just making little suggestions and ideas to get you thinking. Now, if I open up the map here, you'll see that this is where I am and this is my home. This is the island I'm building my town on, and I've done a lot of exploring around it. I need to do a bit more in this direction, but I have explored a good amount of this. Now, I recommend you spend a little bit of time doing this exploring, and that's why I said do check what mods are going to help you out with this first to make the exploring as fast as you can make it. But exploring the local area, you know, you can mark things on your journey map if you need to go back to. So for example, if I open up my journey map here, my waypoints, I found a jungle, right? So I've marked that. If I need to find a jungle, then I can go and get the jungle resources and I know where I'm going. I found this area that has loads of bones. We've got biomes of plenty, so it's like these fossils. So if I need loads of bones, either for building or for the fertilizer for my farms, then again, I can turn those on. So I recommend you mark everything, you explore it. It'll speed up your production. But also you will find, you know, loot chests and villages and stuff like that, where you're going to get yourself some late game items early on. And this could heavily speed up your early game production. Now, as you've seen a lot of this video, I've been around this area. So this is my central area. This is a storage, but also a production area. So I can enchant, I can smelt, I've got everything stored up. I've got production all around me in my farms, a way of getting to the nether, and with the waystones getting around the map. I've also got this kitchen because we have cooking for blockheads. This is all about food production, and you can see in here I've been busy making myself lots of these high tier food items and storing the ingredients to make more in the future. Now, I highly recommend you do this. It's good to be organized. When you're building your town, you're going to need a whole variety of different build materials and things. So just having like a bit of organization will speed things up and just make your life a little bit easier as well. Over here, I also have a drop down into my mining area, just like this, as you can see. Now, I do recommend that you go and do a fair bit of mining and get that done before you start your town. This way you can upgrade your tools, so you can be collecting resources much faster, and obviously building your town much faster, which obviously this is the goal of this whole pack. So I do recommend that you do that. You should also then upgrade your weapons and armor and stuff like that, because you'll be able to protect yourself and your citizens a lot more. You don't want them dying on you, so it's definitely a good idea to try to protect yourself and them as best as you can. And then, of course, you'll just in general be faster at gathering all the resources that you need to give to your citizens to actually do the buildings in the first place. So this was just a little introduction episode for the series I'm going to be doing on my server here. If you want to get involved, as I say, you can join this server, or you can just join the Discord, where we have a MineColonies section where we can just talk about things, or if you have questions. And another great place to ask questions would be either in the comments here, or if you catch me live streaming, then you can ask me there. Again, if you subscribe or join my notification squad on my Discord, then you can get pings whenever I go live. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your MineColonies journey, and let me know if you have any questions down below. But for now, goodbye, and I'll see you next time. What do you call a cow being electrocuted? Beef jerky. Why did the man stop working in the shoe recycling store? It was soul destroying. Why is turning 32 the fastest birthday? It's the 32nd birthday. Why didn't the cheese win gold at the Olympics? It fell at the final curdle. Why do cows have hooves instead of feet? Because they lack toes.